Hi, I'm here with Jacob Gaddy, and Jacob, I just wondered if you could tell everyone, how did you end up in New Martinsville?
I ended up in New Martinsville because of my job as a pipeliner.
Okay, and how did you end up here at the First Church of God?
I just felt led to seek out Church of God because me and my wife had the conversation of Church of God being more like the Pentecostal version, or whatever you'd call it, which led me to the wrong Church of God. And I felt the need to go check out the other one, and then I ultimately came back here.
Okay, so you were a Christian before you came to the area?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, do you mind sharing with everyone, how did you start your relationship with Jesus? What was going on before that, and what led to you making that decision?
What led up to me having a relationship with Jesus was I was born in church, and I was raised in church, and off and on, and we wasn't the full-time Christians, but that went on throughout my life, and we fell in and out of church. But ultimately, my drug addiction, me hitting my rock bottom, brought me back to God.
Can you talk a little more about that encounter, when you were away, when you were struggling with addiction, and what worked, what got a hold of you, made you change your mind?
Well, I knew that God had kept me safe through it all, and through the hard times and the struggles. But when I checked myself into rehab and began to work on me, began to work on a relationship with God, and I felt Him tugging at me hard, and I knew I had to turn my life over to a higher power, and I knew that there was only one higher power.
So how did your life change after you made that decision?
After I made that decision, it was glorious. God was there with welcoming arms, awaiting patiently for me to come back. I began to lead other men that were around me, and seeing my wife there too. My wife was such a child of God, and she would take the women on their side, and they would have prayer outside, and they would circle up and hold hands, and that led me to want to do the same thing on the men's side, and it really reached out and touched a lot of young men, and the ones that were needing something, and that were having trouble turning their life over to God, and even once they did turn their life over to God, I believe that we helped them get closer to God, and just seeing that manifest was a blessing.
Wow, that's really quite amazing. What would you tell someone that doesn't have a relationship with Jesus why they should do it?
Well, it's hard to get them to see why they should, but if we could show a video of how our lives have changed, how we've went from the rubble, from being the scum on the bottom of the barrel, to living a clean life, clean in sobriety, and with the Lord. The Lord is our number one focus. Turning our life over to God isn't always easy, and taking our hands off of things, but just God can use us no matter what. God can, and all you have to do is allow Him to do so. And every day isn't just blissful, but every day is a blessing. And I can't remember the last time that I've literally had a bad day. God has took my marriage, and He has took something that they tell you not to get with another addict out of rehab. Especially you don't want to get with one that's in the same rehab that you're in. But God has took that, and me and my wife fell in love with each other. without ever even holding hands or kissing or any kind of physical connection. And he has used that, and we knew that we had to be equally yoked and bonded 100%, and that we literally had to put God first, above him, foremost everything. If we didn't put God first and seek him out daily, that our marriage would crumble, and we have put him first.
That's good advice for any marriage, even without addiction issues. That's good stuff. Do you have a favorite scripture or a favorite Christian song that really speaks to you?
I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but Romans 8:28 is a really strong one that helped me to come out of addiction, and I can't remember it word for word, but that in Philippians 4:13, you know, God strengthens us.
Yeah, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Romans 8:28 is, for God works all things together for the good of those called according to his purposes.
That's right.
Yeah, those are good scriptures. And, you know, we've only gotten to know you here in New Martinsville for a short amount of time. We're sure going to miss you and your family. Is there anything, I know you'll get to say your goodbyes individually, but anything you want to say?
Just God bless y'all, and thank y'all for welcoming us with open arms, and for having a great youth group for our son. That means so much to us. God bless you all, and thank you very much for your time with us.
Thanks.